It's time for Chat with Chuck, live from Windsor, California, discussing stuff on Chuck's mind, life, attitudes, and stuff. And now, your host, Chuck the DJ.
Well. Welcome everybody to episode 11 with Chat with Chuck. And once again, I gotta say howdy and congratulations. And I should get her a star. Dance DJ Deb, the very first person in the chat today, waiting to hear what we are going to spew about today. And boy, do we have some spewing to do today. Church of the Poison Mind Culture Club was the song that I had going in here because Poison Mind right here. A lot of times when I pick out a song or I hear a song or whatever, and I go with the title of the song or maybe even like the phrase of the song, I don't really pay attention to the whole lyrics. Like what is the whole song talking about? But the Church of the Poison Mind, for some reason, as I was looking through my songs to play ahead of time to get ready to go, that popped in just because of some of the stuff that has been going on about Chat with Chuck. Not a whole lot, just a little bit, little small kind stuff. But it is funny, it's because I don't know how many people out there, if you're listening to music or you're hearing a song and you know the one big part of it, like Born in the USA is my favorite, probably one of my favorite examples of the Bruce Springsteen song, Born in the USA, and how many people, oh my gosh, it's a big pro-USA song, and it's not really, and you can look into it, and we won't get into that, but so many songs that you may know the title of, you may think, oh, cool. And if you actually listen and dissect the lyrics, you may go, oh, crap. But anyway, Deb, thank you for being here. And boy, it's going to be a fun little chat. We're going to try to get back a little bit on track today. And by that, I mean that when I started Chat with Chuck, as I said this before, that I didn't mean it to be a show where we kind of just talk about Twitch the whole time. Although we all have Twitch in common because hey, we're here. That's what we do. We're on Twitch. We listen to Twitch. We watch Twitch. We stream on Twitch, or maybe we just hang out on Twitch. But it seems like the last few episodes have been very Twitch centric. And when I started the show, I will admit that it was maybe a little Chuck-centric, and so I'm going to try and find a balance in there. That's my balance move. Yeah, so I'm going to try to find a balance in there where we talk about some other things and we talk about Twitch because Twitch is important to a lot of us, and it may not be our lives, but it is what a lot of us center around. I know I have my IRL, my in real life gigs as a DJ and sound guy, and of course I have my golfing, and I have my wife, which I probably, in the scheme of things or what is part of your life, I probably should have put my wife first, and then maybe golf, and then Twitch and then stuff like that. But that's just the way it works out. My golf bag over here, I try to keep my golf bag going on, and I got the golf stuff going up on the TV. So I enjoy golf. Yeah, I'm in the doghouse for sure. My wife, I gotta straighten my tie here a little bit. Straighten my tie a little bit. There you go. Something like that. Okay. My wife, when I decided to do Chat with Chuck at 4:00, that was a good time for the family. It's later in the afternoon. Where we can do all kinds of stuff during the day and kind of do lunch and we have some afternoon, and then we could do that, and then we have stuff time in the evening. But then it turns out that my wife started doing one of her, not a podcast. Well, she goes to a podcast like you are out there watching, listening. She goes to one of hers, and it starts at 4:30. So you will rarely see my wife in the chat because of that. And we have thought about maybe changing the time. Maybe even the day of Chat with Chuck. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. I like it. This is a good time for me. I work at the golf course on Monday and Wednesdays. And so Tuesday and Thursday is kind of an open day for us. And then, Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays, sometimes they're kind of gig centric. I like that. I like that centric part. But I do have an event tomorrow. I'm actually doing sound at a high end hotel for my buddy DJ Ryan 22, who has hired me since he's off in Denver at another event. So he's throwing me a bone. He's throwing me a bone as it were. Ryan, Ryan, for those of you that are Ryan fans and maybe watching his stream, he will not be on tonight because he's not in town. I might go on at Ryan's time. He usually goes on at 8 o'clock, but I got to be on site tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., which means I got to be up about 4:30 a.m. in order to make that work. So I don't know if I will be streaming very late, but anyway, I the beginning of the shows, I kind of go off a little bit. I just kind of kill a little time in case there's anybody that happens to pop in, and at the last minute before I start getting into any really serious stuff. But the last, like I say, the last couple of shows have been fairly well attended. I've enjoyed that. I've liked that. It was nice having people in the chat. But the word was out. Like the last show, we were speaking specifically about Twitch raid trains. The show before that, we were talking specifically about keeping people in your chat on Twitch, things to do, ways to make it work, which those were two very, very popular episodes. And there she is, ladies and gentlemen, Tennessee Girl, the busiest mod on Twitch. I think she's on to 12, modding for 12 DJs right now, Tennessee Girl. Thank you for popping in, hanging out, minding my chat, as it were. Today it looks like it might be a little slower. For those of you that are watching on YouTube or listening on YouTube, or maybe luckily on Spotify, Spotify seems to be uploading to Spotify seems to be a I was going to say a 50-50 deal, but it's not even that close. It's like 75% of the time, for some reason, Spotify chooses not to upload my episodes. I have uploaded every episode, all 10 episodes. I have uploaded onto Spotify. And at last look, at least when I've looked, I've only seen 3. So I don't know what Spotify has against me. I don't know what the dealio is. If anybody out there is a Spotify fan or a higher up in the Spotify world, maybe you can find out for me why I only have 3 episodes on Spotify. But they all are on the YouTube channel. So that's been fun, and they've gotten some views. I've even gotten some views. I've even gotten some followers. Like my normal streaming show, I don't have a lot of viewers and a lot of followers on YouTube. Thank you, Tennessee Girl. Just put the YouTube channel in the chat. YouTube.com/chat with Chuck the DJ. And apparently there are a couple Chat with Chucks, so make sure you find Chat with Chuck. I'll get it out. Chat with Chuck the DJ, and you'll see, because if you go there, there's my picture, and you'll see me, what's going on. So that's all that kind of stuff. So so the YouTube channel's been fun, and when I rewatch the show, that's kind of where I watch it. You'd think I would watch it before I upload it, but I don't, and I don't make any changes to anything. So if I say something stupid or whatever, I don't edit it out. I don't fix it in post. I give it all. I'm putting it out there, and good, bad, or ugly. And last week we talked about raid trains, and I got some notes as usual, my notes, and I got some text or some whispers regarding specifically the content of the last show, and I will try to let's go ahead and talk about this now. We'll get it out of the way, and if for some reason somebody comes in late and we have to bring it up again, we will. But most of the comments I got were very positive. I was very fortunate to hear from a few partners that thought the content was great. They enjoyed it. They didn't take offense of anything that was brought up. They didn't get defensive or anything. They all took it very well, and they say keep it up. But there were, as you know, there's always both sides, both ends of the spectrum, as it were. And again, without mentioning any names, I did get a comment and about how they felt that I was throwing partners under the bus, that I was picking on the partners, that the partners were getting picked on in the chat, that it was anti-partner, that it just wasn't. I got a note saying that they would never raid me again, that they would never follow me. They probably aren't even here, or will listen to this episode. But if for some reason they do, I apologize, because I never mean to. I don't mean to be mean. I don't start out to offend anybody. I'm not that way. If I say something, if I say something that that bothers somebody or annoys somebody, I would hope, that that individual or those individuals would reach out to me directly, um, um, and not through a second or third party, so I kind of hear it, through the grapevine, the Twitch vine. Tennessee, you're so right. Can't please everybody at all the time. And so if you are listening to the show, or if you're rewatching the show later, if I offended you, please know that I didn't mean to. And as I said, I think the other day, my views, my thoughts, my spewing, as we said at the beginning of the chat, is me. And it's just how I feel. Love me, don't like me, whatever. But just know that I do not purposely aim to annoy or alienate or any of that kind of stuff with anybody. So if you know of anybody that was bothered, by the show, please, have them, pass along that, hey, sorry. Sometimes the truth does hurt. I went back and I watched the show, and I listened to it, and my wife listened to it, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't think I did anything. And so I guess that's probably all I need to go into that one. All I need to do with that one is just let that go, and just. But I did want to say, I did want to address it. I did want to let people know that's not my aim. That wasn't the aim of the show. This wasn't. Oh God, what was the talk show guy that always used to antagonize people and get the battles, and oh, I can't remember what his name is. He had a bouncer, Steve, Jerry Springer. I never set off to be this Jerry Springer show. Speaking of Steve, when I first shaved my head, because I wasn't born bald, I actually chose this as a look. God and me chose it as a look, because the hair was falling out, and I decided, well, screw it, let's just take it off. At Jerry Springer was hot and big time at that point a lot in my life, and the first few episodes or events that I went to, I had people coming up to me, and ladies that would come up to me, mainly, not guys, would come up to me, and they asked me if they could rub my head. And it's good luck if we could rub your head, like Steve, and I had no idea what they were talking about. Steve on Jerry Springer. So I had to watch the Jerry Springer show, because I never did it. But apparently on that show, his bouncer, big guy, big Steve, and he had bald, and it was good luck for people, I guess, to rub Steve's head, bald head, and so yeah, that was kind of an eye-opening experience when I shaved my head. I got comments I looked like Paul Schaefer, but I was younger when I did that, and my beard was different. But anyway, so that's the bald head story. So. Yeah, and Jerry Springer. So that was that. So I think maybe to the late. Thank you, Tennessee, for acknowledging that, and I had never seen that before. The ladies love to rub his head, and I could have, I'm kind of I can be kind of off the wall. I can be kind of suggestive sometimes, and I could have really ran with that. Of course, I think, as most people can gather or guess, what I could have said. But I was always very, very professional, and I never ran with it. But maybe my younger single drinking days, I might have been a little bit more suggestive when ladies asked if they could rub my head. But I didn't. I was good. I was very professional. Um, so, but what I'd like to kind of do is kind of wrap up sort of discussions on raid trains, because there were a couple of notes that were sent to me about raid trains that I think I sort of covered during the raid train rants, but they were brought up again. So I'm going to I'm just going to bring it up here real quick. Um, and I was on a big giant raid train. Actually, it's still going on. It's a 7-day raid train. Mr. Lattenhouse is putting on this huge monster raid train for cancer, and it started I think Friday, and I think it goes through Thursday, something like that. I was fortunate enough to be on it on Sunday. Mr. Lattenhouse is a good supporter and always asks me to be on his raid trains, and I appreciate that, and I enjoy them. I enjoy raid trains. I honestly, I look forward. If all I did on Twitch was raid trains, I would be a happy puppy. I would be a happy puppy. They're fun. They bring in different people. If you're a streamer, you get different people that come in. They don't always hang out. When I did the raid train on Sunday, I got raided with 70, was it 75, 76 people, something like that. And 10 minutes after the raid, I think 40 of them, 35 of them left. And I was left with 35 or 40 people. Then I ended raiding out, I think, with 55 people, something like that. So they don't always stick around, and you can't expect them to. If you're on a raid train, and you can expect, and I think I picked up 3 new followers on that. So you can't expect, if you're on a raid train, you can't expect just because you're on the train and people are going to, that all of a sudden you're going to get a bunch of followers, a bunch of new followers, or you're going to get a bunch of biddies or subs or whatever. You got to do the raid trains, as we've said before, because you enjoy doing them. You believe in the cause, if there's a cause behind it. Not always. I mean, like the Prince raid train that I do, there's not really a cause behind that. It's just a celebration of Prince. Some of the open format raid trains, they're just fun. They're just fun to do. And I enjoy to do them. So if you're doing raid trains, don't do them. It's just like giving a gift, even Christmas, holidays, whatever. You don't give a gift expecting a gift. If you get a gift back, that's great. That's really nice. But you don't do it expecting something back. If you loan somebody money, you don't expect to get it back. If you get it back, that's great. But do stuff because you want to do stuff and you want to do it. Tio, thanking me for participating in the PCA life raid train, bringing awareness and raising funds for prostate cancer. I hope, Tio, that, in fact, if you want, Tio, if you can drop a link in the chat, I don't have it. I don't know if it'll work. If you want to drop the GoFundMe link in the chat, you're more than welcome to. I hope that they earned some money because it was really low, and I donated a little bit because I don't, and I'm hoping that more people do. So I'm hoping that it meets. It's $10,000 was the goal, on that raid train. So, yeah, it's such a wonderful fun raid train. I had a good time. But let's talk about raid trains just for a second. Let's finish it up. Let's unless there's something that somebody really wants to bring up about raid trains, be ready for your train. And even on this past train, there was a few. I saw one, and I heard about another. So I don't want to, and again, not naming names. That the person that was getting raided into went on like 2 minutes before, and the person that was supposed to raid into them, and they were, and people on this train, I think they were asked to go on 15 minutes ahead of time. Biggie. So you don't panic the DJ over here that's waiting to go over here to your place, and he's like, where is he? Why isn't this DJ on? Don't panic the DJ. Go on early. Make sure that your gear's working. Maybe if you've got a few fans that happen to will join into your chat, so people don't get raided into a just completely empty chat, which doesn't really matter. But it's just nice. Go on early. Don't wait to the last minute. Don't be like, I just got home. Well, plan your day around it. You remember one DJ raided the wrong stream. Yeah, make sure you're raiding the right stream. uh, get the name right. Follow the person that you're supposed to raid, and follow the person that was raiding you. It's always nice to follow people. People always like getting a follow, but that way you know where you're going, and there shouldn't be any other problem. I know it happens all the time, and it's Tio, excuse me, and it's like banging your head against the wall. It's like herding cats. The other thing that I ran into, I was actually streaming last night, not on the train, just my normal Monday night. I do a show called Monday Mellow, and I was going to raid into the train, and I'm not going to say who was on. I'm not going to again. I don't like dropping names, but I set my raid up. I go, okay, you're getting ready to raid out, and I hit the raid thing, and as soon as I hit the raid thing to raid out to this individual, it pops up on my end that their chat is set for subscribers or followers only. And I immediately stopped my raid, and I raided somebody else because in my time on Twitch, I have raided people that have had that, and I know that people that are in my chat, if I take them into a chat that has that only for followers or only subscribers, they don't hang, they won't stay, they'll just leave. So I stopped this. I stopped my chat, or I stopped my raid, and I raided somebody else who was there, who what wasn't in the train, but they were on, and I liked that person, and I raided them last night. Um, and then I went back to the individual that was on, and Mr. Lattenhouse was in their chat, and I messaged him, and I said, "Hey, this DJ has got this on." And I think he was trying to get that fixed. They got other raids. That's great. I appreciate that. But I know that they would have had one more raid had they not had that on. So um, if you're different people have different attitudes about that option. Some people think that it's a way to get followers. That if I have follower only or subscriber only chat on, that means if somebody wants to be in my chat, they'll follow me. Well, that way I'll get more followers. No, it ain't gonna work. If people want to follow you, they're gonna follow you. If they want to listen to you, and not be in your chat, well, yeah, they can do that, and then maybe they'll go like, oh, well, yeah, maybe I'll like that cat, and so maybe then they'll follow you. Yeah, so you might get a follow, but generally speaking, especially if you're on a raid train, don't have that on. Don't have followers or subscribers only on. Give everybody a chance to get into your chat. It's not that big a deal. Have it on there. You can turn it back on after the train, whatever. Nope, it doesn't. I know. Yeah, like say it doesn't happen. Tennessee acknowledges that, and she doesn't. She acknowledges she doesn't even stream. So yeah, it's don't have that on, and be ready for your chat. Don't have that on. And again, I know, like Tio said, it happens all the time. It's been said before. And now this may not be pertaining for raid trains, but just raiding in general. If you're raiding into somebody, if you can hang out a little bit, if you're a streamer, if you can hang out a little bit, so the people that you have brought in, and if you can chat a little bit, rather than just like I think it was called ghost chatting or ghost raiding, where like boom they get a raid, but whoever raided is like you never hear from. You know, it just entices those people that you bring into your chat or you bring into that chat, and entices those people to stay there with you a little bit. Now, the exception or I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's a courtesy too, as Tennessee says. I know that at nighttime, because I'm a late night streamer, and when I get done and I raid out, I want to go to bed, and so hanging out 5-10 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I can do that. Sometimes I'm just beat though, because when I stream, I don't have set hours. I stream till my back says, go find the heating pad, or my eyelids are saying, it's time to hit the hay. So I'll rate out. I may say hi, how you doing? I always try to acknowledge being in the chat and saying hello to whoever I'm rating. But then I'm shutting down. I'm covering up the gear for the night and in the studio, and I'm going into the house, and I'm going to bed. I may chill in front of the TV for a little bit because with me, after I get done streaming, even after these shows, I'm wound up a little bit, and I want to sit in front of the TV and watch, my MASH reruns, or Xfinity has got some free games you can play, and just veg out. I don't necessarily want to go into another chat and sit there and start chatting again, because that's what I just did for 2 or 3 hours. Now, see, Deb, that's amazing. Deb says, I rate out at 4 a.m. and I'm tired, and she'll still stay for at least a half hour. That's amazing, and if you can do that, I think that's great. Again, I think it makes people that were in your chat, they want to hang out because you're there. They're going to hang out with you, and they're going to stay in that chat longer. Tennessee Girl says, I feel you. Mods raid into another stream sometimes too. Just like we need a rest, and I don't feel like staying in a stream longer than either. And I know Tennessee raid or mods for a number of DJs, and I don't do it on purpose. Generally speaking, sometimes I do, but sometimes I'll raid into a streamer that I know Tennessee Girl is a mod for. Well, now she's just modded for me for 2 or 3 hours, and now I've plopped her back into another DJ that she's got a mod for a couple hours. Now, I could do a show on mods. I haven't really done a show on mods. We've talked about mods, but mods, to best of my knowledge, mods don't get paid. And God love them, and some are better than others, and don't expect them to have to be there. And my mods, I always tell my mods, I love it when my mods are in the chat. I love it when they're there. But if they can't be, it's okay if you're not in my chat. I'm not going to hold it against you. I try sometimes with Tennessee when I try to raid out if there's somebody there, or sometimes I will ask my mods. Not always, but sometimes I'll ask my mods. I'll whisper my mods. Who should we raid into? Give me an idea. I've raided the same person a bunch of times. I want to raid somebody different. Have you got any ideas? But that again, that's always my call. I had a mod for a while that actually liked to raid out, and she liked to have that as part of her job description. She liked to pick whoever she wanted me to raid into, and I would do that because she was a good mod, and I'm like, okay, yeah I'm like, you ready? Raid me out after this song. And I would have no idea where I was going. I would have no idea, and I would end up somewhere, and that's the other thing. Raiding out. I have my attitude about raiding out. I never warn my chat. When I'm raiding out. I know a lot of DJs do that, and maybe it's a courtesy to the people there. I don't know. They say, hey, we got like 3 more songs, and we're gonna raid out. We're gonna take off, or hey, this is our last song. We're gonna raid out. We're gonna go see so and so. I never warn my chat, and maybe it's mean. Maybe it's mean for me, but I don't want. This is gonna sound really terrible, man. I don't want to warn my chat. I don't want to give them a reason to leave. They can leave once I start the raid. Duh, no problem. They can. I hope they don't. And if you've been in my chat enough, especially my mellow chats or my mellow Mondays or Hump Day mellows on Wednesday, a lot of times I raid out. I close the show with the same song. So a lot of times, if you're a local or whatever, a true Chuckette, that okay, here comes XYZ song. Oh, this is going to be he's going to raid out. But every once in a while, I'll play it early, and I won't raid out just to throw people off. No, it's not. I've seen other DJs do it that way too. You do you, yeah. But everybody has their style. Everybody has their thing. I've watched. I've been in streams watching a streamer where he says, "Hey, we're gonna get ready. We're gonna raid out," and I'll watch the number go, and in my mind, I'm like, "Don't frickin' tell them," At least, like I say, once you start the raid, if they want to leave, that's fine, whatever. But I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. The chat. Deb's here. Tennessee Girl's here. Tio's here. It's kind of quiet tonight in the chat. But if you have any thoughts on that, is that mean? Is it mean for me not to let people know that that we're gonna raid out, or should I let everybody know that hey, we're gonna go? All right, so no, it's not mean. DC Artist, how you doing? I hate when the raid numbers don't match up and people get left behind. Yeah, well, let's talk about Uber raids. Always raid out. Um, uh, I don't know, at least twice. Sometimes I'll rate out 3 times. I'll show, hey, I've got, and again, I don't get huge numbers. Hey, I got 15 people in the chat. Um, Poor Alpha gets stuck in my chat room. And it'll say, "Oh, I've got 15 people." Hey, it's going to raid out, and it's going to be 9. Okay, well that's weird because why am I showing 15, but I'm only raiding out with 9? Well, okay, that's fine, whatever. So we do the raid out. I go back into my chat. I open up another tab on my computer. I get to my own chat, and I set up the thing, and I raid out again. Oh, there's another raid. There's 3 more people. Okay, great. And then I'll do it again. There's 3 more. Sometimes I've done like 4 or 5 raids where the same 3 people are just don't want to leave, or I don't know what it is. Last night, Antiboni, thank you. It was one of my amazing lurkers. Thank you for hanging out. Last night, Victor mentioned he raids out 3 times to make sure everybody comes along. And so like I say, there's different schools of thought on this. Hold on a second. I need a time for a Diet Coke drink. Sponsorship, right? And they still get stuck. Yeah. I don't know. It's a Twitch thing. DC Artist, it's a Twitch thing. Why I can't kick people out, I don't know. Are they bots? Maybe that's the bots. Dance Dance DJ Deb says, no, I put the raid up and then message we are leaving. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's, I mean, like anything else, there's no one way to do everything, right? There's a zillion ways to do it. There's never, I didn't set this up ahead of time. I apologize. Hold a second. There's if there was one way to do everything that worked all the time, we would all do it, and we would all be absolutely perfect. It would just be like that. It would be absolutely perfect. Everything would work great. But every own Tio says every DJ has his or her own style of doing things. You do your thing. Yes, and I agree with that. Although I think my way is the right way, and everybody should do it my way. But that's another. Oh gosh, I crack myself up sometimes. I've been spewing here for about the last half hour, and I've got one more. I've got one more of these that I want to play. I've told you about this before. It seems to have taken a stop. I've stopped getting these phone calls. For a while, I was getting these random messages on my phone. And I had no idea where they were coming from. And I complained to Verizon, and they kept telling me that there was nothing they could do about it, that it's just some weird thing going on the server. And I recorded them, or I didn't record it. I saved them, and this is actually the last one. I've played all the ones that I've gotten. I think I've got one. There's like 8 of them that I've gotten. Lockpick, welcome in. So to close the book on Chuck's weird phone calls, we're gonna play the last one for you while I have some more Diet Coke.
Hey, is this the Zoo 100.8.3 FM? I got something to get off my chest. This is Gary from Port St. Lucie in Florida here. We're neighbors and all over here, but you guys got to start going faster there in the left lane.
Wait a minute.
You guys forget that the left lane is the passing lane? I'm cruising down I-95 the other day.
Okay, I'm going to stop that one because you know what? I played that one already. And so that looks like I just saved it twice. So I don't have any more of those. So we are all done. But those were some weird messages on my phone. Okay, let's just do this one because I think it was the first one. You might not remember it.
Hey, honey, I'm just wishing you a great day at work today. I'm on my way to work, and hold on, my coffee's ready. Yeah. What the hell is this? You're telling me that this is a full cup of coffee? You got to be insane right now. What do you think? I'm on a freaking diet? Yeah, fill it up to the max. Fill it to the brim. Sorry, I'm at the coffee shop, and you can't believe it, but they just handed me a freaking half cup of coffee. I ordered a grande, and it's half full. Anyway, have a great day, baby. Yeah, fill it to the brim. Duh, I'm not on a freaking diet. Have a great day, honey. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. So anyway, that was so. Now I can kind of close, unless I get some more of those. I can kind of close the book on those. The weird messages from Chuck. So, all right. I'm looking at my notes here because I have been known to forget stuff. Just chalk it up as a lovable, popular guy. That's why they keep calling you. Yeah, that's probably it. Everybody loves Chuck, right? Okay, so we talked about the red things. Outgoing messages for going live. Okay, so those of you that are on those of you that stream, and I know like the Dance Dance DJ Deb, and I know there's a few of you in here that are actual streamers. I think they're cute. When I get the little message that say, hey, XYZ person is going live, but it comes up like, hey, like, where are you? Or hey, so and so just shouted you out. Radioactivity. What's happening? Welcome in. We DJs, we streamers, excuse me, can set up when we go live. We can set up the go live notification. And for example, on this show right here, my go live notification, which should popped up on people's phones, should have said, "Chat with Chuck, where are you?" And you hope people will go, "Oh crap, where am I? I should be there," and they log on. So I think that if anybody comes up with a great go live notification that actually works, that actually makes people click on your notification and show up in your show. Now I know. I've got, oh crap, I should have looked this up first. I've got something like 2,200 and some odd, almost 2,300 followers, not quite. And I know according to my metrics that only half of those people have their go live notification turned on, right? Most people turn those things off so they don't keep getting, bing, so-and-so went live, bing, so-and-so went live, bing, so-and-so went live. But on mine, only about half my followers have the go live notifications turned on. Now, out of those half of those followers, which is let's say 1,100 people that have that turned on, the last time I looked, which was I don't know a week or so ago on one of my streams, I think it was 5. It actually 5 people actually clicked into my chat because they saw the go live notification go on, and they came in. So basically 5 people out of almost 2,300 people clicked into my chat because of the go live notification. So if you've got ideas for the go live notifications, oh my God, please bring them, because are they a waste of time? Do you just put a bunch of stars in there? Is there a reason to have them? You have turned off chats messages dinging. Yeah, Tennessee Test, she has her turned off from DJ Steve because his chat messenger, he goes on in the middle of the night. It's too early in the morning for me. Yeah, so I guess you can turn some on, you can turn some off, and late night streamers such as myself or Steve who does go on late. I turn my phone off at night when I go to bed, so you can call me, you can text me, you can send me pictures anytime you want. I don't care because it's not going to wake me up. I shut my phone off. It's not even awake. In fact, it's downstairs in the house. It's not even in my bedroom. My phone is downstairs. You're one of those 5% people because you're one of the 4 streamers whose notifications I have turned on. Oh, thank you, Andy Bonnie. Yeah, Tennessee, Dance Dance Deb, you can leave me sexy messages. That's right. You can leave me. My wife says it's okay. You can leave me a sexy message. My wife is fine with that. But thank you, Bonnie. I appreciate that. So Okay, so that's those messages here. So I have the outgoing messages we talked a little about. We talked a little bit about the raid train. Last week I talked about event horror stories, and um I encourage anybody who maybe is a on the road DJ to send me their event horror stories. Man, I tell you what, I didn't get any. Nobody sent me anything. Um, uh, So I'm gonna share one other. I'm going to invite you one more time. If you're a streamer, or excuse me, if you're an on the road DJ, if you've got an event horror story, and by an event horror story I mean something that happened at an event that you didn't necessarily cause on your own. That something happened at the event that made it like that. When you got home, you went, "Thank God I'm home." Oh my God. Not something that you necessarily caused, but so I'm gonna share another short one. Last week we shared the one about the kids spinning onto the dance floor and uh, dance people telling me to play different music. But this week, back the first probably 19 years of my full-time mobile DJ work, I was mainly schools. In fact, it was probably all schools. Rarely did I do a wedding or a party of any kind. It was all school dances for the first like 19 years of my full-time DJ work. It was school dances. I was a school guy. That's what I enjoyed doing. So I was doing this one school up in a place called Shingle Springs in California, and this is pre-cell phone. This is pre-cell phone days, right? And when I would do school dances, I would bring my I call my light guy with me, and we had a big 20-foot span of trussing, and we had lights and bubbles and smoke and lasers and big, huge, giant stacks of speakers inside the gyms, and we were doing dances for 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 kids. That's what I was doing, and so we went to this one school in Shingle Springs, and we got there, and they're, oh, hey, great, you're here, yeah, it took us like 4 hours to set this stuff up, and we do a dance for 2.5, 3 hours, and then it would take us 2 hours to tear this down. So they were like, well, hey, at the end of the night, we're not going to stick around. We're not going to hang out while you guys tear down. Just make sure the gym doors are closed, and they're locked, and have fun. And so we're like, oh, okay, cool. Now Shingle Springs is about an hour away from Lake Tahoe, which is where the casinos are. So our plan was to get done, to do the dance, to tear down, and take our time, not kill yourselves, and drive to Lake Tahoe and gamble the rest of the night, and then drive to our next gig on Saturday, because this was on a Friday. So okay, cool, whatever. So we do the dance, yada yada. They're like, oh, you're great, yeah, da, 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 good night, thank you. Close the doors. Okay, great. So we're tearing down and da, 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 we get everything all torn down. Takes a couple hours. We get it loaded into the van. The van's in the back, of course, like in the gym, the van's in the back, and we go to leave, and the gates are closed and locked. And I'm like, okay, so how am I supposed to get out? So we started driving around the back area down there, and we cannot find a way to get out. We actually drive onto the track, you know, the oval track, and we're driving around, and we're trying to drive the gate line. We're trying to find the back gate. We're trying to find a way out. We're trying to find a way out. We're trying to find a way out. And again, pre-cell phones, I can't call anybody. I'm hoping maybe the police will see us driving around and they'll come in and let us out. It gets to be I don't know, 2, 3 in the morning, and we have no way of getting out of the school. So now I've got my Ford 1-ton extended van full of my DJ gear, and what we find is that there are steps that go from the area that we're in, these little baby steps up to the courtyard, and then there's steps down to get out. So we take my Ford extended van, 1-ton extended van, full of my DJ gear, and we drive up 9 steps. Just we get to the courtyard, we drive across the courtyard, and we drive down the 9 steps. And then we go gamble. That was a horror story. That was bad because we got done, and and the gears all bounced around in the back, but we made it out. It was fun. We did that. I don't know. We had a good time. But those are one of those things. You remember you remember the horror stories. You remember the bad things more than you remember the good things. You know, you remember the stuff that went wrong better, I think, than you know, all the times that everything went right. You remember you remember those bad things more. You remember those bad things more. You don't always remember the good things. Um, I've got an event tomorrow where, again, I'm doing it for my buddy DJ Ryan, and it's just, you know, I'm going in, I got to be there, got to load in at 6 o'clock in the morning, got to be ready to go, I think about 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'm just going to sit there all day while these corporate people talk about whatever they want to corporate or whatever they want to talk about with a slideshow. And I'm just providing, you know, sound and speakers and all that kind of stuff. I don't expect any event horror stories out of something like that. And chances are, in a week, week and a half, I'll forget about that gig. I won't remember that gig. Nothing happens, you know. At least I hope nothing happens, you know. But I can sure tell you about the time that the speakers blew up, or the time that I had 2 flat tires on the way to the gig, or whatever. But those are event horror stories for another day. So I hope you enjoyed that. So, with that being said, let's do one of my favorite segments that we kind of got away from, and we're gonna get back to a little bit. For those of you that don't know, this is a book called On This Date in Music. A buddy of mine named Michael Walter, who was a DJ cat out in New Jersey. He started writing. This book's probably like 4 or 5 years old now. He started making posts on Facebook about, hey, on this day in music, and he would share a story. And so all these people started saying, you ought to put this stuff together and make a book out of it. So he did, and it's called On This Date in Music. And you can go to the website and you can order the book. I don't get anything for it. I'm not getting paid for this. This is not any kind of promotion. And so but to give you an idea, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to randomly flip through. This is a bookmark because it's every day of the year. It's every day of the year, and this is where I'm at for this year. This is where I'm at today for what I read today. But I'm just going to randomly open up the book here. And this one he talks about on this date in 1939, Glenn Miller's "In the Mood" had just been released and was already gaining popularity. This era predates most popular charts, so it's hard to say how successful "In the Mood" became. But all these decades later, it's still one of the most recognizable rhythms and a staple in about every orchestra's repertoire. So he goes on to tell about the song and about Glenn Miller's life. And the sad part is that, like so many musicians or artists, Glenn Miller joined the Army. He was old. He was like 39, and he joined the Army during the war, so he could be in charge of an Army band, an Army Navy band, and they got to be an Army Navy. They formed a 50-piece Army Air Force band, and they performed hundreds of shows for U.S. troops stationed in England. His music was not only being used to boost morale among the troops, but also being broadcast into Germany as propaganda. But on December 15th, 1944, Miller flew from England to France to make arrangements to bring his band there. The small plane he was in went down at sea, killing Miller and 2 other occupants. Their bodies were never recovered. Such a sad ending. So, like so many musicians, such a sad ending to a great story, you know, and just a wonderful deal. That was on that date. That was September 23rd, something like that. The book is full of cool trivia, cool facts. There's this one's about the invention of the Walkman. He talks about that. And this is talk about Rick Ashley. This talks about the Four Seasons. This talks about Simon and Garfunkel. This is about the Beatles. This is about the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl Shuffle. Anybody remember the Super Bowl Shuffle? Yeah, that's a classic. Janet Jackson. Just such a great book. I encourage you to get on Amazon. Look it up, On This Date in Music, Michael Walter, or just go to onthisdateinmusic.com and order it. Look it up. If you are into music trivia, if you are into wanting to know some of the behind the scenes stuff, I mean, you can almost name an artist and he's probably in there. 365 different little stories on this date in music, and it's just amazing. It's just great. I really 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 encourage that song. All right, so we're getting close to the end here, and I appreciate everybody who's been hanging out with me, who's been the lurkers that are lurking in the chat. I do appreciate you guys being here. I looked at the monitor, and can you see that? You see that little mark right there? That little mark right there. Friday, when I was loading up my event outside, me and a tree limb had a discussion and a battle, as it were, and the tree won because because the tree is still standing, and I still have the mark. And fortunately, it was late at night, and it was after the event, and there wasn't a lot of people around, so nobody really noticed the blood spewing down my head and face when I did that. I just noticed it. There, um, the hazards of being on the road and doing things. And one of my DJ buddies used to say, it's not an event until Chuck bleeds himself. Tio, am I a golfer? Yes, I am. I that is my golf bag. That is my actual golf bag right there. If you wanna really see something funny, I dress weird when I'm at a golf course. That's a picture on my shirt there. Actually, that's a Tina baby. That was a Tina baby on my shirt there. When I'm on the golf course, I there's a company called Loudmouth Golf that makes these clothes. If you're a golfer, if you know John Daly, he's sponsored by Loudmouth. And I not only do I have a bright golf bag, but I wear bright clothes. I joke that I'm a 20 handicap golfer. If you're a golfer, if you know what that means, so I feel like I can distract other golfers by my attire, and they go, "Whoa, my God, look at those pants!" And where do you get those things? Salvation Army. And but if I can distract people with my pants, I'm like, I'm golden. I'm golden. Yeah, those are a few of my golfer and that's my other golf bag right there. That's an actual official Loudmouth golf bag right there. But yeah, so yes, I am a golfer. Are you a golfer? I work at a golf course 2 days a week. Place called Northwood Golf Course up in Monterey, California. It's an Alistair McKenzie course, 9-hole course. You need to come down to our PC first. Like, oh, I saw that. I saw that. Mr. Lattenhouse promoted that. Yeah, I know that would be cool. I wish I could do more stuff like that, but without getting into like a lot of detail, it's just not in the books. Especially at this late moment, I'd love to maybe plan that for the future. I do one golf trip a year, and I go to Palm Springs with a group of individuals, group of guys for 6 days, and we play a number of the courses down there, and that's very fun. I do enjoy that. There is a section of the show that I like to call Story Time with Chuck, and this is boy, you want to talk about ego time? Here it is.
What was Chuck the DJ doing in 1985, 2020, 1969? You pick the year. Chuck tells the story. I'm Greg Murray. Get ready for Story Time with Chuck the DJ.
That's right. So this is Story Time with Chuck, and I haven't done this for a while. We did it the first couple episodes, when the show was a little less Twitch centric and more Chuck centric. So the way this works is if somebody in the chat, if they want to put a year in the chat or ask about a year, I can tell you what was going on. Probably more DJ wise than personal life. 1985. That's a very good year. Okay, 1985. I mentioned it. I think I mentioned it earlier today. 1985 was the year that I went full time as a mobile DJ. I had a buddy who had a booking agency called Black Heart Booking Agency, and they were in the area in the Bay Area, North Bay more so, here in California. And they were huge in schools, and he would book bands. He booked mainly bands, and I met him in 1974 when I was in high school. So I'd known him for a few years, and I'd always done this DJ thing. Excuse me, I'm burping from my Coke. And I'd always done this DJ thing. And in 1985, he got a call. Actually, in 1984, he got a call from a school that wanted a DJ, and he asked me if I could do it. And I went in and I did it. So he started booking me at school dances. Now, at the time, I was a butcher in a grocery store. I was a meat cutter, and he was starting to book me more and more and more and more and more. And so it got to a point to where I had to make a decision of, do I want to go out and do all these school dances, 2 days a week, and earn more than I was making as a butcher, or do I want to, just try to keep it part-time, whatever. So in 1985, and actually in October of 1985, I made the decision to stop being a union butcher, which I'd been a union butcher for I think 6 years, 7 years, something like that at that point, to jump into the DJ world full time. And I did. And so 1985 is my official full time. That's when I went full time as a mobile DJ. I ran into people, and we talked a little bit about this last week about being the first generation of full time mobile DJs. Then you got involved with the expos, Mobile Beat Expo, DJ Times Expo out in Atlantic City, and I've never looked back. Since 1985, I really have not had another job. All of my jobs since 1985 have been DJ oriented. I've worked for a couple production companies where I've gone in and helped set some stuff up and then DJ'd. I work at the golf course 2 days a week as a marshal now. I basically to get free golf. I do that on Mondays and Wednesdays, except for tomorrow because, like I say, I got a real live DJ gig. I'm doing a little bit of sound stuff now. As I've gotten older, I'm kind of aging out of weddings. A lot of times you have a 20, 25-year-old bride, and they see an older gentleman. They would rather have a younger, hipper, DJ Genemai kind of DJ out there, looking, as opposed to, hey, there's my granddad up there looking. But yeah, 1985. That was a good year, a very, very, very happy year for me. Yeah, so that was that. That was story time with Chuck. Thank you, Tio, for playing along. I appreciate that. All right, we officially have 2 minutes left in the show today, and it has been a fun show. This is at the end of the show here. I like to do what we call run to the chat. If there's anything anybody has in the chat you would like to discuss, you'd like to rehash, you'd like to bring up again, you would like me to give you my thought or opinion on. Yeah, Tio, Dad's granddad's still jam, and I mean I know that I am not the best mixer in the world. I'm not even close to being a good mixer. I'm an okay mixer, and if anybody's ever come to any of my shows where I've tried to mix, not just play music, you know that, and I get by. I do okay, but nowadays it seems that it's very popular for what I call quick edit or quick mix. They want to play a minute and a half, play 2 minutes of the song, then get out of it and go to the next song. Short attention spans. Mr. Latin House, why can't DJs download packets when sent got a double back sending? I am assuming we're talking about raid trains again. We were just talking about your raid train, Mr. Latin House, a little while ago. Following directions, that might just be a whole discussion on following directions. Mr. Latin House, I don't know. I will admit I have made mistakes. I've missed up some stuff. I've just I've missed. How did I miss that? Oh, whatever. But yeah, and your gentleman I talked about your gentleman last night. We were talking about raid trains a little bit earlier, about the follower subscriber only in the chat. You know, look, if you're on a raid, we're gonna here we go again. Well, we're running to the chat. We're rehashing raid trains. You know, the people that put the raid trains on, such as Mr. Latin House, Lockpick. I don't know if he's still here. He puts on raid trains. You know, you well, you got to tell them, like, they won't learn if you don't tell them, Mr. Latin House. I'm so Lockpick's still here. So Lockpick puts on a raid train every Sunday. Mr. Latin House puts on major raid trains. And why can't people just follow the frickin' directions? Mr. Latin House, look, Lockpick's a little more casual. He's got a chat on Facebook, and it's a weekly thing, so guys are a little bit different. But Mr. Latin House, he's got this stuff down. I mean, you get the emails, you get the links, you get the follow. It's all there. Just do the frickin' work. But so many guys, so many DJs, they just want to be on the train. They don't want to do the work. It's how disrespectful. Oh, here we go again. Now I'm going to piss people off, and I don't mean to, but it's disrespectful to not support the person putting the train on. If they ask you to do, Lockpick, how dare you? If they ask you to do something, just do it. If you don't want to do it, don't be on the train. And I hope to God, anybody that puts a train on, and you have somebody on that train, and they don't follow directions, or they raid out 2 minutes late, or they whatever, I hope you make a note and don't use them again. Because just like anything else, nobody's going to learn. Nobody's going to learn until they're until they're not invited back, or piss them off. I got your back. Thank you, Mr. Lighthouse. Lockpick. We really don't ask too much other than DJs show up and raid out on time, and that seems to be too. I hate that. Mr. Latin House's raid trains are an hour and a half, and I'm a 2-hour guy. I like 2 hours. And there, here we go again. Ladies and gentlemen, we're over an hour. We're over an hour. Raid out on time. Don't start your raid. If you're supposed to raid out, if the next person starts at 10 o'clock, you don't start your raid at 10 o'clock. You start your raid at 9:58 or 9:59. So you raid into them at 10 o'clock. You don't start your frickin' raid. And if you're playing a song and you're like, oh, I'm playing a song, I'm going to wait till the song ends. Screw that. Don't wait till the song ends. Fade the fricker out and get out of your stream. Go to the next person. Some raid trains, oh man, I'm wired. I'm getting up now. I don't know. Some raid trains are only an hour long, and if you cut 2 minutes short, that's a big frickin' deal. It's amazing. Tennessee Girl, I've done most of the work before for raid trains, and it is a lot of work as far as sending out invites, chatting back and forth many times to everyone, dates and times before the flyers even made. So yeah, it's work, and it's very time consuming working on and putting together raid trains. It is hard. Dance DJ Deb, that's, and I'm sorry. What about if you're in a hype train? That's a toughie. If you've got a hype train going, that is a very, very tough thing. If you're Mr. Loud, you're allowed to stay on your hype train on Mr. Latin House raid trains, and that's probably the only exception. That is probably the only exception to the rule. I still feel bad that especially on an hour raid train, 2 hour raid train, hour and a half, and you're 5 minutes late because you're unless you've gotten your level 18 Golden Kappa raid train that takes 20 minutes, then you better be kicking down some to either the cause or you're kicking something down to the DJ that you're shorting time on, because that guy can't. Now that DJ that you're raiding into, who's gotten short 20 minutes or 15 minutes or 10 minutes, they can't stay longer. They can't make it up on their end. No. But yeah, a hype train, that is probably the only exception to the rule. I'm gonna get rid of that. That's probably the only exception to the rule is a hype train. But even that, like, I get hype trains rarely, okay, and rarely do I get a hype train that is over like level 2, right? So when raid trains and the raid trains need to be abolished. Is that what you're saying? Oh, 1 hour. Oh, I'm sorry, Bonnie. Okay, 1 hour raid trains need to be abolished. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'll go along with that one. I hate 1 hour raid trains. And in fact, to tell you the truth, I've done a couple, but the ones that I've been invited to, I've kind of not done them. Yeah. I mean, the 15-minute raid train. There's the example. The other, there's always a flip side. There's always another example. There's always a flip side of the coin. Mr. Lattenhouse puts on the 15-minute raid train. My God, that was fun. Do something in 15 minutes, get the fuck out. That was amazing. I love that. Chuck the DJ is an honorary Canadian, apologizing for my typo. Yeah, 1 hour raid trains. I just don't like them. You don't see many hype trains. Lockpick says, you don't see many hype trains, but one happens when it's time to raid out on a train. I still raid out unless the person I'm raiding to explicitly tells me to keep going. Yeah, I mean, again, hype trains, that's almost how does a person feel? If I've got a hype train and I've got a minute left, 2 minutes left into the hype train, and I'm on level 1, I'm going to raid out. And that's it. Oh, that was Sam Nation. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Lattenhouse. Yeah, Sam Nation's 15-minute raid train. Yes. That was amazing. That's fun. That is the exception. To the short raid train rule. That 15-minute raid train that Sam Nation put on. Thank you. Yeah, amazing fun. It was the first time I watched it this year. I was on it. Yeah, that was amazing. I was the only one that did 30 minutes on a 15. Why did you do? Oh, because did somebody cancel or something? Herding cats, raid trains, herding cats. Boy, we're on raid trains again. Maybe I should change the name of this to Chat with Raid Trains. I don't know. No. All right. So, as you know, as everybody knows here, if anybody here is in the chat, if anybody's following me, if anybody's listening, you know that I can sit here, and I am sitting. I can sit here and talk and go on and on and on and on and on and on and spew as long as I want. I could be here for 2-3 hours doing this. It's not a big deal. Oh, the guy had internet issues, and and stuff happens. And that was nice of you to be flexible enough to be able to do another 15 minutes to keep going. I try to follow trains, and if I see an issue popping up, I will a lot of times offer, hey, do you want me to jump on to keep the train from derailing? I will be happy just to pop on and try to cover that time frame. Because I'm a nice guy. Hold a second, let me. Okay, I patted myself on the back. And B, like I say, I just enjoy doing it. I've told the story before about the train that I was doing, and I'm not going to mention again names, about how the person that was supposed to raid into me had, I can't remember what it was now, 70, 80, 90 people, and rather than raid into me on the train, they decided to raid into one of their friends and completely derail the train. And just because they wanted to send, I'm assuming, because they wanted to send their friend that was streaming a bunch of people. And I was sitting there going, dude, I had whispered the cat. He knew I was on. I was ready to go. Oh yeah, no problem. We got you. All right, cool. And the time came, the time went, And I was just like, what? And completely derailed the train, So I did my set, and I think I got, my usual 10, 15 people, whatever, and then I rated into the next person and, put the train back on the track. That was very rude of that individual. And I hoped that they have 86 Tim from trains, but whatever. Everyone should just be expected and and try to be understanding, because internet and equipment issues happen to almost everyone at least one time or another. That is true. I mean, 2 weeks ago on my chat with Chuck, I forgot to plug in my internet cable, and I was trying to run off Wi-Fi, and I had nothing but problems. So I ended up just blowing that stream off. Yeah, that was a dumb thing. So yeah, things do happen. But so yeah, I mean, in my case, where that guy, there was no reason for that. That wasn't an oops. That wasn't an equipment problem. That wasn't a hype train. He just basically said, "Screw you! I'm not coming to your show. I'm taking my people elsewhere." Anyway, all right. So this has been episode number 11. I hope that everybody has enjoyed the show. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remind you one more time that we do upload these onto YouTube. Tennessee Girl, if you could put the YouTube link in the chat, I would appreciate it. And if you want to look back on any of the shows that we have done, please feel free to go ahead. And even if you don't go back, I would appreciate if you would just go to YouTube and just hit the subscribe button, just to show YouTube that I have actually people there that are there. Thank you for putting that in there, Tennessee Girl. So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Tennessee Girl, my mod, for being here. I want to thank DC Artist, Lockpick, Mr. Latin House. I want to thank Tio, Auntie Bonnie, for being here. Tang Fever, a lot of my lurkers. So much. I appreciate Tio. Thank you for popping in and hanging out. I do thank you, and I hope you had a good time being here. And I will be back next Tuesday. So I hope to see you then.
Thanks for listening to Chat with Chuck. Have something you want Chuck to riff about? Send him a whisper and get ready to be entertained. I'm Greg Murray. Thanks for listening.